What's going on, everybody? This is X. Today we're here. We're finally doing a little mini podcast on Build Divide Code White, and I'm going to discuss my opinions of it as of the first 3 episodes and my hopes for the rest of the season going forward. I chose this way because, I think it had a week off because of Golden Week, so I was like, hey, why not catch up at least on the first 3 episodes and see what I think of them? And well, here we are. So, for those of you who don't know what Build Divide is a TCG that released in Japan last year, and it is funded by Aniplex, and it currently is almost on its sixth set. It's had a bunch of collabs with Demon Slayer, Monaco Magica. It's about to have a Fate collab booster sometime later in the summer. So it's not like it's a fairly new card game, but it's still been pumping out content and everything. So, and it does have plans to keep going. So one of the things was they also released an anime called Build Divide Code Black last year as well, and I talked about that episode on the podcast with my co-host, and to say we both kind of liked it. It was pretty. We enjoyed it, and we enjoyed what we saw. We enjoyed the characters. We enjoyed the games and whatnot. So we were having fun with it. And then after the season ended, they announced that later in April they would have Build Divide Code White, a second season, and it would coincide with the new release of new trial decks and a new booster for I think set 4. And I was not safe to say I was pretty interested, but with it being a hiatus of TCG shows to watch. And by that I mean I don't want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s on anything that isn't a legal streaming service for reasons. I'll talk about it later. But basically, what I'm saying is I was excited for Build Divide Code White, but due to just me getting busy and a lot of things happening, I couldn't find the time to actually sit down and watch it. So with the week now that I've kind of things have calmed down, and that I've cleared out some of my schedule, as well as this past week at the time of this recording, Build Divide kind of had a Golden Week break, so it didn't have an episode posted, kind of a recap episode. So I found time to at least watch the first 3 episodes and give my thoughts and opinions on everything. So that's there. And just a forewarning, there will be spoilers for the end of Build Divide Code Black, and spoilers for Build Divide Code White, because it's kind of hard not to talk about either without spoiling it. So keep that in mind. If you want to try out Build Divide Code Black, you can go on all the streaming services and whatnot, your Crunchyrolls and your Verve, whatever. Not sponsored, by the way. So I'm just saying, or whatever way you want to watch it, and you can go try it out. I will say, or you can listen to our podcast episodes on it, and there's a whole thing right there that can tell you all about it. So with that being said, again, one more time, there are going to be spoilers for the end of Build Divide Code Black and Build Divide Code White. However, we're going to try to at least keep as many be as spoiler free as I can, and try and make sure you can go into it as nice as you can. But this is just my opinions of Code White and everything. So we're gonna start here. First off, kind of a brief synopsis of what episodes 1 to 3 were. The story is it takes place 3 years after Code Black's ending, where the main character Teruto defeats the king, and things ensue from there. And what happens is, because of the events that happen, Neo Kyoto has basically been destroyed, been damaged, been ravaged, and one of the main characters, Kika, who is Teruto's sister, is now on the run from the presumably main bad guys. I forgot what their names were. I didn't write it down because it sounds stupid. And but she's on the run, and then she's saved by Hiyori. one of my favorite, if you saw a podcast, she's one of my favorite characters in the show. She's just really fun to to watch and, enjoy. She brings like a nice happiness to kind of like a weirder, bleakful world and whatnot. So, but she's saved by Hiyori, who is much more older, much more mature, much more like more stoic. Kind of takes a little bit after both Sakura and Teruto in that regard. So she's kind of like a mix of the two, and then has her still kind of like goofy personality. There are definitely like a lot of fun like screenshots of the characters of her like going crazy and everything. But Hiyori basically runs a kind of like a splinter, like a rebel group against the antagonist, and basically the main goal is to get. Basically, the main goal after this is now Hiyori wants to get to Teruto and recover him and save him from the antagonist. We still, which was like the guy in the background in the last season. So with that, I'll say this like right away, like it definitely has a different feel and a different like type of not different. It has a different feel and a different like way of how the story starts. It's kind of similar to a it has like some callbacks how like Code Black started with Kika running away. Same with Sakura that was running, but for different reasons. You can tell the differences in the characters because of that and where they are. And then you kind of have this. You have more questions, like you're wondering what's going on, what's happened, why is Neo Kyoto so destroyed, like, and why is Kika being like chased after? There's a lot of questions that the show does ask. Does kind of like give you, and is kind of like, well, I'm at least intrigued because I saw the second season, so I am at least like willing to like be like, hey, I want to know what's going on, what happened. I do like the story of. I do like one of the things is because the series is now, because the events of Code Black has changed my characters. I think this would technically make Hiyori Hiyori and Kika theoretically, like outside of Recross, which has been primarily like girl focused, would be like the first like female like lead, the first female leads of a card game anime in some time. I think probably like Battle Spirits and maybe Duel Masters, probably the only like other series to have done that, which is I guess both interesting in that regard. So with that, I do like the change of Hiyori. She's more serious and more understandably serious because she kind of went through a traumatic experience. Her best friend, what happened to Sakura and what happened to Teruto would definitely have given her some changes and kind of like this feeling of like loneliness, as well as having to go through 3 years of fighting a bunch of like people trying to capture you and put you in the barrels. It's a long story. I don't know what they're doing, but we'll get to that. And having to fight for 3 years and protect a bunch of people from being captured and whatnot. So it's obvious that the character was changed, and I do like this change for Hiyori. Kika's interesting is that she, because of what happened, she does feel this immense sense of grief and sadness and guilt for all the things that happened in the story. Which she does, right? There's even like multiple scenes where like she goes around and she's like trying to like get shelter, only to be kicked out because they realize who she is. And that's hard. And she's like, this is all my fault. People are getting captured. People are possibly dying because of me. And she's running away to like make sure that the main villain doesn't like go through his plan and whatnot. Which that's good. And then at the end of episode 3, she gets by the end of episode 2, she finally starts to get the resolve of, I'm running away, but for what? What am I running away for? Why am I running away? Why not just actually fight it, start trying to fight back and, fix my mistake. And it's always a good thing. I really do like it when characters like understand it. Yeah, I think that's something like a lot of like series do, but I think this is like a good way. It's like, yeah, I may have done all these bad things, whether willingly or unwillingly or unknowingly, but regardless, I still did them, and I need to, fix my mistakes. I need to clean up the issues I've caused. So having having Kika start to like get a little stronger in that regard of like trying to stand up for herself and protect the people, protect Hiyori, protect the rebels and whatnot, and actually assist them, even if they don't want to forgive her or not for her actions. She still wants to do it because she feels like she needs to. She feels like she has the obligation to. She feels like she has to fix all the issues she caused. And that's already a good setup, right? A character who've got two, that already should be like an interesting thing, right? We've got two female leads in a card game that are both have their own goals and ambitions, and want to take care of the main villain. That should be dope. That's pretty cool. And not many card game anime can say that happens. I mentioned Recross earlier, but outside of that, there's very little like characters that do that. That's interesting at the very least. And that also is kind of like, dang, how it took until 2022 to really get like a female leads like this. That's crazy. So there's that. I really do enjoy that now that I've kind of like understood the game a little bit more, that they're able to like get into the fights and have a lot more, that's actually what I was trying to say. Because they have like two leads now, unlike back in season 1, they only really had Teruto, because Sakura only fought 3 times the entire show. Hiyori only fought once, if that, and everything else was just like Teruto takes the lead and fights constantly, which at a certain point kind of felt boring, which, understandable if you're not really a fan of Teruto as a character. You would feel kind of bored with him just constantly fighting, where like some more interesting characters should probably have like actual fights. But so having Kika and Hiyori as the main leads means that you can go in between them fighting, right? You can have a Hiyori fight here, you can have a Kika fight here, you could do, I've got spoiled on like there's a tag team match like later on in the season, which is pretty interesting how that's gonna go. So you have more diversity in fight choreography, that you're not just like stuck with Hiyori just fighting everybody, or Kika just fighting everybody. You have both of them, and you have other characters you've added, which, going into this, like, I like the fact that they've added a bunch of more characters into the season. I think another thing that was like another issue with Code Black was it didn't really feel like they had this world building, but it never really felt like the world was alive, which is ironic given the actual situation of the world itself, which I'll talk about in a minute. But you never really knew many characters, because every character Teruto fought was important to the plot. So there wasn't like any like kind of like throwaway characters or like more like side characters, etc., etc. There was only like one, and it was a Sakura fight, which was like an interesting like setup to her character. But outside of that, there wasn't really anything more like that, So having more characters that just like are there to be supportive, more supporting cast, is already just a great start. I like that the first 3 episodes have kind of like probably taken more criticisms that they probably could have gotten, and actually tried to like fix that and give more of an actual like shell of an actual world, and like that there are people in here as opposed to just a bunch of world building that could amount to nothing. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. So on that, I have some questions going on. It's pretty much what, and the first question I primarily have is, what is the goal of the main antagonist? Because at the end of Code Black, you understand what's happening with Neo Kyoto and everything in the world, etc., etc. But after that, you don't have any information as to what the main goal is, why the main villain needs Teruto or Kika, why they need a king, what's the point of the king, and etc., etc. All these things I'm trying to like skirt over because of spoilers. And so you have that question, like, what's the main villain's goal? Excuse me. Secondly, like, if Teruto is so powerful, or he had Kika, and I know why he needed Teruto back, because Kika was, Teruto back because of things that happened to Kika, but why is it that he needs Kika back when he already has Teruto? Is there like some sort of like relationship that, is there some sort of like thing of like he needs both of them to achieve his goal, or what? Like, what's going on there? So that's a primary question I do have. What's the goal of the antagonist? Like, why do they need both Teruto and Kika? What's the deal with Neo Kyoto? Like, why is this happening? As well as other questions that I still want answered that go into spoiler territory, so I can't really go into that. So really, in all, like, I do feel like, in terms of like a second season, the first starting up episodes, like, I really enjoyed them. They were fun. They were dope. Seeing the characters interact with each other more. That there's more characters interacting with each other. That characters are growing. That are independent. That are agency related and whatnot. And the fight choreography is still fun too. So I really say, like, hey, if you finish Code Black and you're still on the fence of Code White, I say just give these first 3 episodes a shot, and see how you feel. I'm about to, like, probably after this one, and go and like watch the other episodes I missed before before the new one comes out, which this will probably premiere like probably Sunday, I guess. Have that there. But other than that, like, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on